Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the NEN webinar. My name is Ashwini, and on behalf of NEN and Vadvani Foundation, I would like to invite you all for this webinar on legal compliances for startup. And I would like to also introduce the speaker for our session, Mr. Avinash Ravuri. Avinash guided more than 450 startups in legal matters in a short span of 1.6 years at wakilsearch.com. He is a panel member for various startup programs on legal matters. And he also led number of workshops and webinars to help out the entrepreneurs and startups on their legal queries. Before I hand over the floor to Avinash, there are a few reminders for the audience. You will be on mute. You may ask questions by typing it in the panel provided. Over to you, Avinash.
Hi Ashwini, thank you.
Sure.
Hello everyone. So today we will be having a session on legal compliances for startups. So this session will basically guide us through as of what all legally a company has to compliance, especially a startup during its early stages. So let's start the session. So to begin with, everyone has a query of as of what kind of company do they need to register with. So there are different types of company registrations that can be done. So that is one-person company, private limited company, LLP, limited liability partnership firm. So among this, say one-person company is something. So let's know about private limited company. So private limited company is a type of registration in which you at least require two directors to be there to form a company, and it can be registered anywhere in India. This means that if at all I am residing in Hyderabad and I have my address proof of the documents pertaining to Delhi, I can get my company registered in Delhi. I need not have to be physically present in Delhi to get the company registered in Delhi. So then we need to have a minimum authorized capital of 1 lakh, and authorized capital in sense you need not have to have 1 lakh rupees in your company's bank account at the very beginning of getting your company registration. So once you get the company registered, it actually divides the number of shares that are among the two directors. Like one of the director can be given 51% number of shares, or he can be given 48%, or he can also be given 1% of shares. And then, as mentioned, you need to have at least two directors. Then the shareholders may be directors, may not be directors. So a director may not be significantly a shareholder. And many of the times, private limited companies get considered to be best model uh, to be invested by funders, investors, because many of the investors seek private limited company as a best form of investment, because in this you need to have a minimum authorized capital of 1 lakh. So in this 1 lakh, it's a means that on Jan 1st, 2015, you got your company registered. By Jan 1st, 2016, in your company's bank account, you need to show a liquid cash of around 1 lakh rupees. That is, initially you'll be starting it by showing the variables like laptops, furniture, accessories, all those as your share capital, authorized capital. But later onwards, you need to just keep on replacing it so that the investor has a good faith on you, saying that this guy is earning profits and he is again investing the same amount into the company rather than using it up. So that is all the authorized capital of 1 lakh means. Then let's go ahead with the one-person company. This was recently implemented or brought into act by the government of India in March 2014. So in this, it is much more similar to a proprietorship firm registration, but here the only difference that proprietorship firm registration and an OPC has, one-person company has, are that, say for example, it is like Avinash Legal Solutions Private Limited Company. that is a private limited company form of registration. Whereas a one-person company form of registration would give out a names as such, Avinash Legal Solutions, bracket, OPC, private limited company. So this is the only difference that you will be getting for a private limited company and a OPC. And the other major difference is about the single person can start a company. So a single person can start the company, which is just like how they do it in a proprietorship organization. And it can also be started anywhere in India. Say you are from Hyderabad, or you are from Delhi, investor in Pondicherry, any place. And then the 100% of the shares are held by the single person, who is the director who will be starting the one-person company. And number of directors can be increased down the line, say once your company is incorporated. And the same authorized capital of 1 lakh is required even here. And investment is not possible. So what does this mean? So in a private limited company, if at all you are seeking, if at all your startup is more of seeking into funds, investments from the investors, then I suggest if at all you are seeking more than 50 lakhs of money into the company, then this would not be allowed in a one-person company. Anything less than 50 lakhs can be accommodated. If at all your company is getting more than 50 lakhs funded, then you need to convert the one-person company into a private limited company compulsory. So, and that will not be a big of a issue to convert a one-person company into a private limited company. It would hardly take around 15 to 20 days. So it's just like getting the company name freed in one-person company category, and again getting it available in private limited company category and getting it registered. So now let's go ahead with the compliances part. So basically, what all things do we need to have our company compliance on a monthly basis or once it is incorporated? So you need to have the first minutes of meeting, board meetings made, which are 4 meetings in a year has to be conducted. That is every quarterly one board meeting can be done. And appointment of an auditor has to be done. And disclosure and declaration for the directors as of what are their salaries, what are their investments, what is the share that they are holding in the company, and all those stuff. And maintenance the statutory registers, like if at all you are removing a director or adding a director or issuing some share certificates to public or someone else, whatever it is. So share certificates must be issued to the shareholders. Then these are the compliances that you would be requiring once in a year. There are annual general meetings has to be conducted, compliances, statutory, ROC filings, and IT filings for the company, which are normal things. And this is the third form of company registration, which is LLP, Limited Liability Company, Limited Liability Partnership, wherein this is a firm where even here you require 2 directors, and it can be formed anywhere in India. And here you don't have any authorized capital required. So it can be started with a 0 percentage of revenue also. So no money is required to start this company. And minimum compliances are required. So you do not have to go with the minutes of meeting after AGM, all those stuff. And investments are not possible since it is a partnership firm, and you will be having a designated share allocated to each of the director, the partners, and liability is limited to capital. So whatever capital is thereafter shown in the company, that amount will only be liable to the banks or governments or whichever form of business you take a loan from, or a business loan or a debt or whatever it may be. So in case of recovery, the liability would be limited to the capital that is shown in the company. Now, what are the compliances that you would be requiring for LLP? So LLP is nothing but an agreement between the partners, so you need not have to have anything in specific. So, and auditor need not be appointed unless the turnover crosses 25, the minimum threshold limit and 40 lakhs as in case of an upper limit. And if there are any delays in the ROC filings, the penalty would cost you as much as rupees 100 per day. And now let's come to the session of IP registrations. IP registrations are trademark, copyright, and patent. Three of them put together are known as intellectual properties or IP registrations. So let's start with trademark. So trademark is something that is used to get your product, your brand name, logo, or brand a specific tagline. So these three can be trademark and nothing else. Many of the people come say they confuse between the copyright and trademark. So trademark can be only done for any kind of name, a product name, or a company name, or a phrase or a tagline, which normally nowadays people are calling it like, and then logo or symbol and design. Design in sense which is something a soft copy of that, and then image. These things can be image is nothing but again a logo. So trademark can be taken as an ownership by an individual or on the company's name, and it can be always transferred from an individual name to a company name or a company name to an individual name. So basically, what is the TM represented by? So initially, when you apply for a TM trademark, you would be given a TM symbol, which will thereafter show you that you have applied for an application and your application is under the process. And SM is something used by the government in US, United States. And the R symbol. So when do we get the R symbol with the round circle around it? That is obtained after say about 16 to 18 months. So this is where you apply for a trademark and your application is accepted by the government, and they say they keep it open on the portal saying that so and so Avinash has applied for a trademark of working search, and if anyone has any objection, they can raise it. So if at all no one raises an objection during when it is kept on the portal, public portal, then you are granted a R symbol. So let's try to understand what is the process of trademark. So trademark normally takes about 3 to 5 days to complete the application process, and the certificate to get the R symbol, it would take around 16 to 18 months. And the details required for the trademark registration would be the brand name, the nature of the business you are doing it, doing with the brand name, because there are about 43 different classes classified by the government, under which you can only register a trademark under one class at a time, and then the authorized signature as of who would be using it. If at all it is on the company's name, a stamp from the company name, and if at all it is an individual signature. And then if the brand name is in use, mention the name, date of use from which you are using the brand name. Then coming to copyright. So copyright is something that it is normally done for the literature and painting and photography or a content. So something which is you have your own original work contributed into that. That is known as a copyright. So copyright is not a trademark, and trademark you cannot copyright your brand name, logo, all those stuff. Copyright can be only done for content, music, uh, photographies, or any photograph that you have taken and you find that to be an exclusive photograph, painting. So such kind of things can be copyrighted. And copyrighted can be transferred from one party to another party. So say from Avinash to Rishikesh or anyone, it can be transferred to as and wish of the other people. So that is how the musics are normally dubbed in the Indian market. Then, then led to patent. So patent is something that is done for a physical product. say if at all I am inventing a robot, that robot can be patented, and the programming in it can also be patented, and the the instruments, the conductors, resistors, the everything that I've used, the material that I've used for that making a robot, all those specifics have to be mentioned in the application, and then that will be recorded with the government, and they will be issuing as a patent. And patents are normally done for some product which you can actually feel. So nowadays, recently about a week or 10 days back, the government of India has given us the permission of that a software can also be patented. So a programming for a software can be patented now. And say that is what you can patent. And so for an example, a robot, a 5-legged robot. So that robot can be patented, the name of that robot can be trademarked, and the programming or the uh, description or a manual that you write by yourself about the robot, that will be copyrighted. So I hope I'm clear with the three things on one example. And these are the various steps that are done under the patent registration. Patent registration is a little bit tedious process, wherein it will take a slow process. It will take some time, not as fast as a trademark and a copyright can be registered. So in this stuff, you would be requiring the various steps like patent search would be done, and then a professional patent search would be issued, and then the final patent rights would be given. So it would take roughly around 5 weeks for the process to be done. And the details required would be the name of the applicant and the inventor. If at all the applicant and inventor can be different at many times for a patent application. Like I'm inventing some engine for a company, uh, which can engine for a automobile car, which I sell it out to BMW or Audi or someone else. So at that time, the applicant would be BMW, Audi, and I would be the inventor. So the details of those are to be mentioned, and this are to be mentioned properly, and it has to be relevant and clear that if any person can understand that, so that the government officials get to understand that, and even the patent expert who will be searching whether that patent is applicable or not, he would also be having fair idea. Then let's come to some of the taxes which are normally uh, has to be obtained by a company down the line. So like professional tax, import export code, shops and restoration license. So let's go ahead with the professional tax. So professional tax is someone charged by the government of India for earnings by salary in the form of salary or profession, such as chartered accountant, lawyers, doctors, engineers, etc., are required to pay a professional fee. So these are the various labs in which the professional fee is normally charged. Unless, so this is what a professional fee is. So an employer who is paying salary or wages are to one or more employees, wherein this salary which is paid to anyone or more employees exceeds 5,000 rupees per month. So at that time you need to have a professional tax issued. Then import export code is something that you would be requiring if at all your company involves more of exporting goods from out of the country. So if at all you're importing goods from China or you are exporting goods to US, so at that time you need to have it yourself registered as an import export code. That will ease our difficulty in getting it shipped. When the shipment arrives the port, you will be asked to show this IEC code. Then it would be, you need not have to pay any under the table bribe to the officials, port officials. So import-export code is not required under the following issues. If at all you are buying some TV or some goods or something like that, or decorative item you are bringing from any abroad country that you have visited, that you do not have to have an import-export code for. Then what is shops and establishment license? So shops and establishment license is required for someone who needs to have a who is employing employees in his shop. So it might again vary from state to state. And all commercial establishments such as office, cafe, restaurant need to have a shops and restaurant license registered. So these are the various rules that are covered under the shops and restaurant license, which are helpful for the employee rather than the employer. So employer would be giving out as a protection to employee. The labor laws. So these are the labor laws that are required to be followed by the company. So minimum wages of 22,500 rupees per month and number of working days, 6 days, and these are the various parameters that would be done. And sales tax registration. The sales tax of the seller of the goods in India is required to comply with the registration formalities. These laws differ from state to state, and it can be purchased within the state. So both VAT and CSTs are indirect taxes, which means that these are not direct burdens on the sellers. So when do we need to have a sales tax? When the company's annual turnover crosses more than 5 lakhs. And what are the benefits of getting a tax registration? Input credit can be availed on the amount of VAT paid on purchases, competitive cost and more profits, easy opening of a bank account. And what is a service tax? Service tax is required when the company's annual turnover crosses 9 lakhs. Or sometimes it is also exempted to 10 lakhs. It has been now increased to 10 lakhs. And service is something, service tax has to be obtained by someone who provides services to the customers. And sales tax has to be provided by someone who is selling a product to a customer, like cell phone or a AC, anything problem that comes, that will be charged at that time. You will be charged sales tax. And anything, say any repair in your AC or a TV, at that time the service engineer would come, get the repair done, and he would be charging the service tax. And you also have this is the service tax return filings. So you need to have a half-yearly periodicity, April to September, October to March, and these are the various deadlines and penalties that are normally charged. And let's come to the legal documentation. So these are the some of the important legal documentation a company needs to have, like NDA, terms of service, privacy policies, vendors agreement, shareholders agreement, service level agreement. So let's go through each of them. So non-disclosure agreement is something that is done between two parties. If at all I am an inventor, for the example that I have given, I invent an engine where it has been, it runs on water. So I'll be going to put my proposal of getting this implemented before BMW or Audi or any company. So that company, I get a NDA agreement drafted or signed by both of us before I disclose my details, my inventions details to them, so that it is protected. They don't misuse my invention details. And it is can be mutual, meaning both parties are restricted in their use of the material provided, or they can restrict the use of the material by the single party. So this can be done. So this is how an NDA is signed, and it is also signed by an employee by the company to an employee by the company. And what are the terms and services and privacy policies? So terms and services is something required to be mentioned on your sites nowadays. Many of the people normally copy it from some other relevance or whatever source they find it. but terms of service and privacy policies has to be proper when you are drafting it for your own website. It has to give out the details that what you can deliver and what you cannot deliver and what you are not going to disclose to general public. If at all there are something like confidential data that you are collecting people. So these are the privacy policies. And let's go to the vendor segment. So vendor segment is something that normally is done between, say, for example, like Zomato and the restaurants. So vendor segment are, you can say, Pepper, Tap, and the retailers. So Pepper Tap gets into a vendor segment saying that you have to provide me at X percentage of amount the goods, and the vendor or the retailer would then say yes, I'll be delivering it on so and so time, date. All those specifications can be mentioned in this vendor segment. It is basically between a party like a third party and a seller. So two businesses who enter into type of agreement will almost always write up a vendor agreement to go along with. So this is what the vendor agreement is required. If at all you are selling any products or anything as such. So what is a founder's agreement? So founder's agreement is something, say, two people start the company and they are the founders for a particular company, startup or an idea. That time they need to be clear with what type of uh, percentage of shares they need to go ahead with, what are the revenues they will be sharing, what is the company profit doing, it's up to you. Uh, it's up to the founders or the two directors of the company to decide what terms they want to lay down. And then the service level agreement. This service level agreement is normally required by the companies which are into service industry. So this industry's service level agreement specifies that, for example, I say Zomato that I'm a restaurant owner. So I say Zomato that I'll be delivering the food in 45 minutes. So I need to provide the customer when I get an order from Zomato within 45 minutes. So it cannot be more than 45 minutes and I cannot just take my own time and all those stuff. So yeah, that ultimately uh, creates a bad impression on Zomato. So apart from this, there are other incorporations other than the three private limited company, OPC and LLP. We also have international incorporations like US incorporations, USA and Singapore, and you can also register in Dubai. So what are the benefits of getting your company registered in US or Singapore or say Dubai? So US, there are some tax-free locations in US wherein you will be charged 0% tax, wherein in India you are normally taxed up to 30%. So that would be tax-free. And but even that 0% is up to some uh, slabs like 0 to 1 crore, and if at all it is above 1 crore to 2.5 crores, it would be again a marginal, there would be a percentage of tax that would be laid upon you, like about 5%, 7.5 or 10, according to the government of that particular country. So a little brief about Workil Search. So we started our company in 2011 and we started growing up exponentially thereafter. And these are some of the prominent services that we do: the startup business, trademark, tax registrations, legal documentations, company compliances are also done. So all you need to do is put up a request on officers.com and through your laptop at your home, our experts will get in touch with you via email or phone call. You need to submit us the scanned copies of the documents and the work is done. And we currently provide services in US, Singapore, India. And these are some of the feedbacks that we got from our customers. We have been rated about 8.4 out of 10 among the customers who have opted for the services, and they have rated among 1,50,000 happy customers. So thank you. This is the session, and these are my details. For any queries, you may just write in or have a call to me. Over to you, Ashwini.
Sure, Avinash. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
We have a couple of questions from the attendees. So I'll
right.
just read out one by one. Okay. So the first question is by Mr. Anand. His query
Okay.
is he have already applied for a trademark under a company and the design, and
Okay.
now he feels like changing the design, but company name
Mhm.
remaining the same. So can it be done?
So, Anand, if at all you have applied for, say, the logo also consists the same name, then you can always go and change the name. But you need to inform it to the government of India saying that you have changing logo. And always remember one thing: whenever you are applying for a trademark, always apply it with a black and white, so that in future, if at all you don't like the color combination, you can always change the color combination. But if at all there is some changes in the logo itself, then you need to apply it fresh.
All right. And Anand is having one more query, and that is how to use the written copyright content of some other writer or author for educational product, which will be for commercial use.
See, if at all you know that that particular content is copyrighted, just try to figure out as of who is the owner of that copyright content. You can apply it in a local office, copyright IP office, and you'll get the details. Then once you get the details, you need to send out a letter of intent saying that you are going to use his content, and get a no objection certificate from him saying that he's okay with you using the content and putting it on your website. Then you can use the copyright content.
Okay. So the next question is by Sama. Does an LLP need to have yearly audits?
LLP needs to have a yearly audits. See, it is more of making yourself clean, uh, keeping your company's record clean. It's like whether I uh, quit paying taxes, income tax, by showing my investments in some LIC policies or some NFCs or national savings certificates. So it can be done that way, but you need to show that written filings to the government.
Sure. And the next question is by Tushar. Hi Avinash, is it easy to transfer LLP to private limited?
See, it normally takes either LLP to private limited company or OPC to private limited company. It will normally take around 15 to 20 days, because you need to first of all to close down your LLP or OPC, clear all the accounts, balance sheet and everything. Then the name will be cutted off from the government's record. It will be made free. Again, you need to apply it on the fresh registration for the private limited company. So this whole process takes a little bit time. So it is about 15 to 20 days work. That's it.
And Sama is having one more query, that is for a graphic t-shirt company, does each graphic design need to be trademarked?
No, see, unless your intentions are to use that design somewhere on a article or on an object or on a website, then you can get the trademark done. If at all you are selling out something, you are branding through that symbol, then you need to have a trademark done. If at all it is just an image, a Donald Duck image or a Mickey Mouse image, that can be copyrighted.
Sure. So the next question is by Mr. Kedar. So, is it mandatory for a director to pay professional tax?
Yeah, you will be falling. You need to pay around 200 rupees. That's it.
Yeah, and another question by Sumit. What are the legal requirements to sell the food online from home kitchen?
Say, you need to have a vendor's agreement and a service level agreement prepared. Say, if at all you are selling, and you need to ensure that whatever food that you are selling online, it has to have a food license. So, if at all some customer buys the food from the website and he gets into some health issues, at that time he might come up and sue you. So, to avoid that, you need to have a ISO certification for or get a food license by the government of India, or you need to have, if at all you are outsourcing it from a uh, restaurant or a third party, you need to ensure that you are having the service level agreements and vendors agreement in place
Sure.
so that you
Um,
don't get into trouble.
all right. So I think we have enough time. So I'll take a few more questions. Hope that's fine, Avinash. Like a three,
Yeah,
four
yeah,
more
sure.
questions. All right. So the
Yeah.
next question is by Mr. Ravinder. What documents are required for IEC?
See, basically the documents that are required for IEC would be the director's number. A company has to be registered in any form of company type like private limited company or a LLP or a OPC. So you would be requiring that documents along with your personal identification details like ID proof, letters proof, and all those stuff. That's
All right. So the next question is by Ms. Anisha. If my company OPC is registered from different state, can I set up my operation office at my rented residential apartment in different city? Is there any legal complication in this scenario? And I have an employee count of 5.
yeah. See, you can always have your company registered in say Delhi, and I can operate it from Chennai. But the only thing is, if at all you have a website, you need to mention the head office to be Delhi and your corporate office to be your Chennai office. And you need to just in your annual compliances part, when you will be doing the annual compliances for your respective form of company, you need to mention that this is the branch office and that is the head office. That's it.
All right, the next question is by Mr. Sachin. I have a software company online which is not registered. Up to how much revenue can I run my company without registration?
See, you need to have it's nothing like uh, whether you need to get the company registered or not, because whatever the revenue that you will be getting through that software company, you will be liable to pay the income tax. So, say if at all you are earning some 12 lakhs per annum, you would have to pay about 30% of that. So, if at all it is through the company, you would be having the ownership. You would be just drawing the company salary, and the amount would be in the company. So, you would be saving a lot if you register any type of company, OPC, LLP, private limited.
All right, and the next question is by Mr. Jalal. We have a mobile product like a mobile application. Could be apply for patent.
Mobile application, if at all that has something, some programming uh, thing done in that, it can be done. But I'm not sure that 100% it can be patented.
Sure. So the next question is by Balaji. We have already applied for trademark in 2009. It's almost 6 years and we haven't received the certificate. So what should we do now?
Oh, so normally you will be getting the company, the R symbol communicated by the government to the address you have specified in the trademark. So that check out the address that you have specified, whether you have got any letter from the government. If not, you can always go into the government portal, go into Google, search into IP intellectual IP services, and you will get a open portal. Check out the name and class, and you will be getting to know whether it has been objected. If at all you have not got the R symbol, I suppose it might have got objected.
I'll take again 2-3 more questions and we will wind up the session. So the question is by Pratish. Pratish started a proprietorship firm of his own when he was a student from his old address. For the same, he opened a bank account with the help of a bank guy. And recently, he went back to his old address and he realized that the bank person have registered a service tax account for his company. What should he do? He doesn't have ST documents and his firm has never reached 9 lakh per annum.
See, service tax need not have to be only applied when your company reaches 9 lakhs. You can also apply for a service tax. If at all, say my company has just 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs or even 2 lakhs, I can apply for a service tax. That would not be an issue. It is mandatory to have a service tax if at all the company's revenue crosses 9 lakhs or 10 lakhs. So you can always apply for a service tax and you will get it in 10 to 15 days hardly.
All right. Then the next question is by Mr. Amit. What registrations are required for a freelancer who is selling technical services outside of India? Do he need to pay service tax? What registrations are required if his annual earnings are about 10 lakhs?
See, the only thing that you would be required to pay, you do not have to register anything as such. If at all you feel that the income tax that you need to pay is going over and above your head, what I would suggest you is get a company, say OPC registered, get the money pumped in through the OPC to your account, so that you save a lot of money rather than paying 30% in the form of income tax to the government.
All right. So I think we are now, it's time to wind up the whole session. So yeah, hope you had a good time, taking this session and you enjoyed all the questions asked by all our listeners. So thank you so much, Avinash. Hope we'll collaborate and do more sessions in the near future. So thank you so much for all the audience. Yeah, have a good evening. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.